Krewson, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, McGraw. Really happy to be here.
Why would you want to be mayor of such a dysfunctional city?
Well, I think it's really important who the mayor is. And I think I bring some skills to the table which can help St. Louis be better than it is today. You
have been an alderman since 1995. You have an interesting story how you got into politics, one in which you're probably going to have to relive quite a bit, something that changed your life back in 1995. Tell us the story.
In 1995, my two kids and I and my husband were coming home from Target. And
living in the Central West End.
Living in the Central West End, where I still live today. And we pulled up in front of the house, and in an attempted carjacking, my husband was murdered.
Did they catch the guy?
They did.
Yeah. And that clearly changed your life. But why politics? Of all the things you could have done, why did you get into politics?
Well, honestly, I mean, I'm a CPA. I'm the CFO of a major architectural firm, and I had been an accountant at that time for 20 years. And I had also, though, been very active in the neighborhood in the Central West End, running the house tour and working on the Balloon Glow and those kinds of things. So I was already in, the public arena a bit. And in 1997, when the then Alderman Dan McGuire resigned, I said, this is a place I could make a difference, and I'm gonna run for alderman.
Yeah, you're one of the power brokers of the city of St. Louis. You closely aligned with Mayor Slay. Is that safe to say, or no?
Mayor Slay and I agree on a lot of things, but we also have our differences, of course. But yes, over the years, what I try to do is collaborate with everybody who's in office and try to come to middle ground on topics.
What are your thoughts on crime? How bad is it in the city of St. Louis? Let's first start with that, because Gabe Elizano, the head of Locker Dome, was here yesterday saying that the city can't solve the problem until they know what the problem is, and the city is sort of putting its head in the sand when it deals with crime.
Well, I would agree with him on a couple of points. One, we do need to admit that we have a problem with crime. As you know, I'm an accountant. Statistics can say anything.
Right.
So there are close to 80 murders in the city so far this year. And if you are one of those 80 families, the statistics don't matter one bit. Their lives are forever changed. And certainly there are a lot of components to this. The police need to hire more officers. Probably that we are down 115, give or take, officers from what we have in the budget. So we have to move swiftly to hire those officers, work with judges, work with prosecutors, work with social service agencies, all of those things that come together to admit the problem and then set about solving it.
Lyda Krewson, our guest, has announced that she's running for the mayor of St. Louis. There's crime and then there's crime. There's a drug deal gone bad. You're a bad guy doing a bad thing at a time you shouldn't be, right? And that's
correct.
And that's bad. But like your former husband, you were an innocent bystander and was carjacked.
Right.
You have the girl who was carjacked on Washington Avenue. You have the guy leaving the Cardinal game who gets beat up. That's the crime that is really scaring people and scaring businesses. And police officers can't be everywhere. Police officers can't stop crime. Sometimes they can, but that's not their role. How does one go about reducing that type of crime that scares businesses from bringing jobs downtown?
Well, it scares businesses. It scares people that are going to visit downtown. And you're right that those random acts of violence where someone is not engaged in high-risk behavior, they're just out for an evening or doing normal activities, and when then they become the victim of crime, that is when we all step up and take a closer look at it. All of those things have to do with police force. They do have to do with cameras. They have to do with many social service agencies as well, which are not things that we're going to solve between now and the end of next year.
Right.
But they certainly are things that, providing good education for kids, intervention, social service agencies, mental health, all of those kinds of things.
Where would you say your biggest disagreement with Mayor Slay has been over the last couple of years?
That's an excellent question.
That's why I asked it.
Of course, that's why you're running that's why you have a radio show,
That's
right?
right. That's exactly right.
I would say, let's see, biggest disagreement, probably he and I differed on the extent of the minimum wage. I was the alderman who offered a compromise on the minimum wage that was put forth by the administration that I thought was a very fair. I do think $7.65 an hour is not enough as a minimum wage, but I think going quickly to 15 was too rapid, too quick. That was a pretty major issue. I offered a compromise on that at $11, which did eventually pass. It was, as you probably know, struck down by the courts.
Right.
But, just quickly thinking back, and I don't know if that was a disagreement. It was a different point of view on the subject.
It was a policy difference. Yeah.
Correct.
So let's talk about the tech startups in St. Louis for a second, because that seems to be an area that is positive, that isn't getting enough attention. What can you do to help foster that? What can, as the mayor of St. Louis, you can do to help continue this trend of these tech companies coming to St. Louis?
Well, first of all, I mean, that's one of our real wins. And it in a way, it probably looks like it happened overnight, but of course it didn't. Cortex has been in the planning stages for 20 years, and now it is really booming. I think that as the mayor, one of the things that I plan to do is meet regularly, often, and be very engaged in the economic development process for St. Louis and St. Louis County, because that's absolutely something. We have the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. That's one of the pluses that we have working together, city and county, which we need to do more of. And so I'll be engaged in that process.
If you become mayor, now Mayor Slay has his spokespeople talk quite a bit. If you become mayor and we invite you on the show, are you going to come on the show, or are you going to send your PR people to come on the show?
Oh, goodness. I hope that I'll be here on the show anytime I can.
Okay, so
I don't have PR people now, so.
So if you become mayor, Maggie Crane's not going to come on the show.
I don't know. I don't know what Maggie Crane is going to be doing.
Fair enough. Last question for you, Lyda Krewson. And this is sort of a serious question, because crime is a major issue, and everyone's talking about it. There are rumors that Police Chief Sam Dotson is going to get into the mayor's race. So someone's thinking to themselves, wait a minute, crime is my biggest issue. Lyda Krewson has been an alderwoman who has had a front row seat for all of these things, and crime is still bad. Here's a police chief. He can do something about crime. So what can you do to solve the crime problem better, more efficiently than a police chief?
Well, the police chief is in the seat right now where he can solve the crime problem or have a big impact on solving the crime problem. So I think the crime fighting strategies and the activities need to stay in the police department. I don't know that moving over to the mayor's office would enable him to fight crime any better than where he is today.
Lyda Krewson, we should say, in terms of full disclosure, you're married to a former member of the terrible media, Mike Owens. How is Mike Owens doing?
He's doing great.
He's a lawyer now, right?
He is a lawyer, but right now, today, he is in Glacier for a little while being a tour guide because he loves hiking.
Glacier National Park?
Glacier National Park.
Up in Alaska?
Absolutely, yes. He's
Really?
on a little extended vacation there, so don't read anything into that. He
All right.
don't start any rumors here.
All right, well,
he's
we
having
love
a
to start
great time
rumors.
texting me pictures of the mountains.
All right, fair enough. Because he went from a member of the media, which isn't very well thought of, to a member of the bar, which is thought of less than journalists. So
I think you're right.
all right, fair enough. Lyda Krewson, alderwoman, who announced she's running for the mayor of the city of St. Louis. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
727 here, Big 550.